Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Josie Schmidt. I'm a naturopathic physician. I've been practicing for 20 years, and I retired about 5 years ago to focus on educating and empowering people to use essential oils and plant therapeutics in their everyday lives. So I'm here today to teach a little bit more about the adaptive products and Copaiba, the products and samples that you are using in the study. So one of the things I wanted to first quickly go over is the stress response and how that works in our body. So we have all these neurotransmitters up here in our brain, and we have a communication between our brain, and we have neurotransmitters that are calming and that help us focus, and we have ones that are excitatory and help us stimulate, right? And Dr. Louise Rose spoke yesterday about how we have our fight or flight system, parasympathetic and sympathetic. And all of this is going on as it communicates then down into our body from our brain and our central nervous system, down from our brain and our spinal cord to the organs like the adrenals that produce cortisol. So cortisol is our main stress hormone from the body. And so these are communicating all the time. And this is kind of the cocktail that we call the stress response. And in our everyday lives, what I don't know, a lot of you have noticed is things are really changing about how so many people feel kind of stuck up here in a high level of excitement and over stress all the time. So we call this sympathetic dominance. And the problem or the issue that we've kind of gotten into is that in the body, when they're feedback loops. And I kind of do this all the time because if you can think about an infinity sign from here, so going from the brain down into our body, like down to the adrenals and down here. So I'm going to draw this infinity sign, right? Because I'm very visual. I like to do that. That's how I think of it. We have this feedback loop going. And when we have been overexcited in a stress way, right, for a long period of time, our body gets used to in the neurotransmitters from the brain that then signal the stress hormones to produce more of them. And then we have more stress hormones in the body that then signals the brain to produce more excitatory neurotransmitters, which that, right, you start to see. It's a wheel. It's an infinity loop. When that gets up here and it's been there for a while in this overstimulated, stressed place, what starts to happen is it's a little bit like an addictive cycle. And so even if we're in a state where we're at the moment where we're like, no, I don't feel stressed, but we've been up here for a really long time, our body, our hormones and our neurotransmitter are used to being up here, and it's basically a little addictive. They start looking for thoughts that will help trigger those excitement neurotransmitters. And so have you ever noticed, we're doing a study, right, where people who are in the study are people who've been experiencing stress and mood, wanting to have more help with mood modulation. Have you ever noticed where you're like, no, I don't feel stressful, but then it feels like a thought has just come in and it's like out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden it's right on you. Yeah, that's part of that neurochemical cocktail of your body searching to kind of feed that addiction of the stress cycle. And so that's where many of us have found ourselves, where we don't feel like we feel in control necessarily of being able to turn on or off the switch of okay, I want to go to sleep now. I'd like to quiet down. It's not the day. I'm not driving my kids to work. I would like to calm down, but we can't. We're waking up in the middle of the night. We're not able to go to sleep, right? We're having thoughts that don't feel like our own, that feels like, wait, where did that come from? That's not being in control of this stress response and cycle. And so let's talk about the adaptive line. This line was created exactly for this, as a tool to help us in regulating and really disrupting that stress response. Now, I want to be clear, I think we've been talking about this, that our toolbox is big, and we want a multi-pronged approach with diet, lifestyle, breathing, sleep. We're going to talk about a lot. But the wonderful thing about essential oils, and so our two adaptive essential oils, the pure oil and the oil blend that it is in the coconut oil, these have an immediate disruption to that cycle and those thoughts. And they help us to come into our body and our brain immediately to produce different neurotransmitters and therefore different mood. And remember when Dr. Rose spoke about how the oils bypass the thymus? That's that part of the brain, the mental processing, right? That's that part that really regulates whether we have an understanding of a mental or emotional situation, or even a recognition of it. So what I find is beautiful. Sometimes that can take time, right? That's therapy, that's work where we can come to those mental and emotional understandings. But before we have that, we have a tool that can, in the moment, disrupt, like it's like brakes, and help stop that cycle because it's bypassing that part of the brain that needs recognition and understanding. And it's going immediately to the amygdala aspects of the brain that work with emotional memory and the regulating of neurotransmitters. And so when we're using, especially this touch, right? This is the one through the day. So we're asking during the study for everyone, I love working on the wrists. Doing videos can be stressful, right? So I'm helping my amygdala right now. Deep inhalation. The compounds in this oil have already reached the centers of my brain that produce GABA and different neurotransmitters that are help and serotonin, GABA and serotonin and dopamine that are help calming down me from the stress response of even doing a video, right? Immediate disruption right there. I feel calmer. I don't know, do I seem calmer to you now? I hope so. So what's in it? The oils, it's a beautiful blend of, I'm going to look here. I do know these blends, but I don't want to make a mistake for our video. So I'm going to break it down into a couple different categories. We have generally stress relief. So these are calming oils, lavender, neroli, magnolia, and sweet gum. And then we have some soothing oils, copaiba and rosemary, as well as uplifting oils, wild orange, one of the citruses, and spearmint. So that is the blend of the oils that are in both of these. The difference being that the Adaptiv has that carrot oil, the coconut oil, so it's going to absorb much slower into your bloodstream. And if you use it every couple hours in a topical, right, I can use it here, the back of my ears and neck, on the bottoms of my feet. Every few hours, it's like a time release capsule with that essential oil blend into your bloodstream, and it's going to absorb and from the bloodstream then hit our nervous system. But when we smell it, that's an immediate hit of disruption. That goes immediately within 1 second to our brain and has the ability to help us shift our neurotransmitter response and our mood right then and there. Isn't that beautiful? All right, I love that. The Adaptiv capsule, this is also a tool for disruption. It takes a little bit longer than immediate second, okay? Okay. Its action starts to hit within about half an hour. To an hour is the peak time that you'll feel it, but then it has a half-life of working for us in our bodies for about 5 hours. And the Adaptiv capsule has 4 main ingredients. The first is an essential oil blend. So these are the different oils. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are 8 different essential oils in the topical versions. We have 4 essential oils in the Adaptiv blend. It's lavender, wild orange, fennel, and coriander. This blend is 80 milligrams, and we have seen in studies of 80 milligrams of essential oils of lavender to have basically in studies it has been shown to have an equal or more greater benefit to benzodiazepines. So that's like Valium. So helping to calm that whole excitatory response for us in our stress response. So this is a blend, and it has wild orange as well. And so the citrus oils like wild orange have in studies been shown to have that effect, equal or greater benefit than, again, the benzodiazepines, but also SSRIs for serotonin and dopamine and mood modulation. So when you put together the lavender and the wild orange and the fennel and the coriander, it's a much stronger synergistic response, and you have it at that therapeutic dose of 80 milligrams. So that's really powerful all by itself. But on top of that, we have 3 other ingredients. We have ahi flower, which is a powerful omega-3 essential oil. Sorry, it's not essential oil. So it's an omega-3 oil. So we know omega oils are very beneficial to our brain health and supporting our brain. And the one thing that's a standout for the ahi flower and the omega-3 oils that come from it is that they have been shown to be more bioavailable to our brain, and the benefits that we receive from the EPA and DHA, the oils that we really want for our brain health from omega-3s, more bioavailable than fish oils, even fish oils. So the ahi flower is very powerful. And then we have an active form of GABA. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and an herb called scaledium, and how those work together. And so the GABA in and of itself comes from a fermented form of GABA. And the GABA is a neurotransmitter itself. So we are actually giving 100 milligrams of this neurotransmitter. And why is that important? So I talked about that whole cocktail, right, and the neurotransmitters, GABA is the inhibitory neurotransmitter. So that's what we call the brakes. So when we're up here and we're having that stress response and we want to start putting on the brakes, that is GABA in our brain, in our neurotransmitters. But you know how when you really hard on your car and you go really fast for a long time, all the time, your brakes, your brake pads get thin and your tires start to get threadbare? You know that situation? That's what happens in our brain. We start to get a little thin and threadbare with our own pathways of making our own GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid. And so to supplement some things that are going to help us produce the more GABA ourselves, and some natural GABA itself is very beneficial and helps us with those pathways, right? Because we've kind of worked our car. That's us, our body. And in studies, when they do them and they supplement and they work with GABA, it's large doses. They start at about 400 milligrams and can go up to 1,000. So 100 milligrams is a very safe yet effective dose. And part of the effectiveness of this capsule, it really is in the formula. You know how with Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, we stress how the synergy of the ingredients together, each ingredient in and of itself has some benefit, but then the sum of the parts is so much greater. That synergy. This is so true with this supplement. And so putting together that 100 milligrams of the GABA with the ahi flower and the 80 milligrams of the essential oil blend that is meant for internal dosing and working with our neurotransmitters. Now let's talk about the 4th ingredient, which is the selenium. The selenium is a succulent, an herb from Africa. It is, it's called Kana there, and it has been used for centuries and centuries, and they chew on it, they make herbal teas with it, and it is used for helping to sedate and to calm down and focus during the day. And so what we know from selenium is that it has active alkaloids, and doTERRA was very specific and careful to bring out the 4 different types of alkaloids. They're very, and again, they're synergistic amongst themselves. So it's not just one form of alkaloid, it's 4 different. Those are the active ingredients in the selenium working together. And what those alkaloids do is they help with supporting and nourishing serotonin and GABA. It's very synergistic with the GABA and with serotonin response. And so you have, you start to see this beautiful combination of the essential oils, the ahi flower, the selenium, and the GABA working together to support our stress response and to support not only the inhibitory neurotransmitters like GABA that's really going to help this stress response go down, but help our serotonin and dopamine be balanced as well. And then I wanted to, the last thing is go over the copaiba. So why do we have copaiba? That's the 4th product, and then the 3rd oil that we have as a sample in the study. And the take home, what I want you to know about the copaiba is it is a oil from a tree, it's a sap, and it is more effective and it has a stronger direct response at the receptor site than CBD oil at the CB2 receptor site. So let me break that down. What does that mean? I think everyone by now, a lot of people are really familiar with CBD oil, cannabidiol, right, from hemp and cannabis. And so this is from a tree, it's from a sap, it's not hemp, but it has the same similar, but stronger and more effective response in our bodies at the receptor site than CBD oil, but has the same, it plugs into the exact same place, but it's stronger and more effective. Wow, how come we haven't heard about this more? I know, it's amazing. So Josie, let's get this straight. Are you telling me that if I can't get CBD oil, if I don't live in Oregon, or if I live in Oregon and I want to spend a lot less money and I want to take a lot less of something, but have the same beautiful effect on, what is CBD oil? What do people know it's good for? Have the same effect for helping me to sleep, helping me with stress, with my immune system and with pain and inflammation, that I could use copaiba oil, 2 drops under the tongue twice a day and have a therapeutic dose in my bloodstream, continuous, as a high level dose of therapeutic CBD oil. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. That's what copaiba is good for. So we have found an incredibly helpful in working together with the adaptive and with stress response. And so when you bring in the copaiba so how do you get 2 drops from your little sample bottle? Because when I say 2 drops, I mean 2 drops from a big bottle like this, and it's a bigger orifice, and a drop comes out really easily. So when we have that little smaller sample bottle, it's a smaller drop, right? So what we're telling you is that when you have the little bottle and you tap the bottom 5 times, so you're getting a little bit under the tongue, 5 taps equals about 2 drops of the therapeutic dose of what we're saying. So if you're going to be working with a copaiba, you're going to be doing 5 little taps of that under your tongue, AM and or PM, depending on whether you want to do 1 or 2 doses. And so that is, I think I've covered it all. Those are the 4 products that we're working with, the 2 adaptive oils, the adaptive capsules, and the copaiba. And together, They are a really incredible toolbox to help you maintain through the day in your bloodstream with these compounds from the essential oils that help with that stress response, and also give us the tools to have these immediate disruptors of the stress response right in the moment when we need help ASAP. All right. I hope you guys are having a wonderful study, and I wish everyone very adaptive responses today. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.